safe. Like, I really don't care. Like,
but that's what submission is. That's what submission is that you
down that I think everybody is at some point deserving to receive love and to be even into marriage if they do aspire for marriage.
I believe that society shapes how we view things and how we look at things in our life.
Make your own bed. And that's basically what Kevin Samuels is saying. His delivery is what people kind of throws people off. But basically,
aggressive or like violent, like where I think toxic masculinity is
no offense to men, that they also get this idea that, you know, women are just going to take care of them and everything is going to be like easy.
A domestic violence shelter, and he brought her up to be, you know, a $25,000.
Hell yeah, you need to judge in dating. It is what it is. You know, you can't not judge people just because you feel bad about it. Like, you need to know.
As much as I love my daughter, there are some harsh realities and some things that her mother and I teach her in order to help her to understand.
Like, I'm sure everyone knows a woman that, you know, had sex with her dick. Call it the
What's going on? Welcome back to CKQ Podcast. I am your host, Clements. And before I go ahead and introduce the panelist, John, do me a favor, hit the like and subscribe button to the channel for more content like this, where we go and talk about men and women and how we pretty much correlate and interact in the world. And essentially the bigger picture. So, without further ado, introducing the one, the only, John.
Nah. All right, so you can find my channel, Black Wall Street Trading LLC, on YouTube, or John Cornelius.8770 on Instagram. We talk about, I post videos on the YouTube channel on trading options and things of that nature. So just hit me up. I start posting more often when I get some serious people who really want to learn.
There you go. And without further ado, since the whole panel has been introduced, let's get to the topic, man.
Let's get it.
This topic, I think it's pretty relevant in what's going on right now because of such a big housing boom going on, the housing crisis, essentially. A lot of people are saying that, speculating, there's going to be a big pop. I decided to make this, let's talk about it a little bit in this panel. So, first question for the panel, or that we'll discuss, is: renting allows you to not be committed to one location. Is it wasteful? Renting allows you to not be committed to one location. Is it wasteful?
No, it's not wasteful. And yeah, it does, you're not really committed. It does allow you to not be committed to just one location to a point, because you still have to qualify nowadays to rent. Like, it's just not an automatic qualification to rent. But it is a way. You can't just have first and last and be able to rent. Landlords have a database that they sign into. So if you've had slow pays in the past, those go reported to that database. If you've got some charge-offs, if you got some damage, all that goes in that database. You could very easily find yourself homeless because you cannot rent from anywhere. Like, and this is a nationwide database. It follows, it's across state lines. It's a pretty big deal.
Not all right. Taking that aside from that, because I don't think that's a big percentage of people that fall into that category, right?
You'd be surprised. It's a lot of people can't rent.
A lot of people cannot rent,
It's a lot of people that cannot rent.
but most, if anything, would you say that there are a lot more um, rental buildings being built, a lot more apartment buildings being put up?
They are, but they're not wanting those people. They're wanting a specific type person. So a time like this, a person who is that qualifier is going to get rental property, meaning they can buy, but they want to rent. And I'll tell you why. I don't want to answer another question. When the housing market is a buyer's market, is a seller's market. If you are not a seller, then you want to rent.
Buying even to rent out would not be a good option, in your opinion.
It depends on what you buy. Okay, so what happens if you buy a house 4 times overpriced and then the market reverses? You're 4 times underwater. So then what?
You're 4 times underwater if you're what trying to sell, right?
Right.
But if you're renting,
If you're gonna rent the property out,
yeah.
well, how much you gonna have to charge for rent to make it worth your while? How much a loan did you have to take out? And then when you do the math, does it come out to where you can make a profit based on what you're going to charge? And is what you're going to charge, is it realistic that people can pay it? You have to consider all of that. You understand what I'm saying? That's why you have to be careful when it is a seller's market, because people are getting way overbooked for these houses, like way overbooked. And it's good right now, especially if you own that property. You own that property, been had it for some years, you are looking good right now.
Yeah.
If you're just getting into it, you have to be careful. And you have to be careful. You gotta find people who are trying to sell it, that you just gotta be careful. You just gotta just because it's gonna be hard for you to, you know, tell somebody not to take what they can get.
But
Like
then
the whole negotiating thing is just not happening right now.
but what about getting into a program like programs to actually help you get into that housing,
Hmm.
and those programs are actually for your benefit?
Well, it depends on what are the perks of the program.
Like, all right, let's just say NACA, the program NACA.
Okay.
Um, they allow you to put down some. They don't go by your credit. They put you on a strict regimen to actually. They have a whole bunch of obstacles built up, and if you are able to get past those obstacles, then they say, okay, we can actually rent to you. So it's like if you cannot sustain a certain level of income for a certain period of time, then you cannot qualify for this. You have to qualify to be in it.
All right. So are you trying to rent from them, or are you trying to purchase from them? Like what do you
So
said
they're
rent now?
essentially a loan. They're essentially a loan.
Okay.
A loan that actually teaches you how to be a house owner, how to
Right.
properly look out for the house, or how to properly look for the houses, setting up your
That's
payment
good.
plan. And yeah, exactly. So they truly
That's
teach
good.
they truly teach the home buyer how to be set them up for success, essentially.
Right. Now that's good. But if you look why if you look at that, like when you start getting into like how to buy the houses and stuff like that, then you'll start seeing what I'm talking about. Like what to look for, area and location, what you might be able to negotiate on.
What do you know of that?
Like, okay, like let's say I got a house. This a borderline house. What I mean by borderline house, it's like it's in the right school district, but it borders the wrong school district. you can argue that, and you can make that, you can use that as a negotiator. You understand what I'm saying? You can use that to negotiate with.
How you doing, Danielle? You're muted.
You muted.
Oh, I'm muted.
There you go.
How y'all doing?
Fantastic.
All right.
Good. What's going on?
Give us your thoughts. Renting allows you not to be committed to one location. Is it wasteful?
I don't think so. If that's what you want to do. If you're not going to be somewhere long term, then why not?
Then why not just rent?
You said what?
Then why not just rent?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But should you keep the mentality of, well, if you haven't really, if you're more interested in traveling than actually building in a specific area, then yeah.
You said, should you keep what mentality?
I was just thinking out loud. I was just running my thoughts out loud. Ignore me. I was more thinking the mentality of renting. A lot of it is because you're just not sure if you want to stay in that area. But wouldn't it just be better to still purchase a home and just rent it out? Like, wouldn't it always just be better to go for some sort of housing? I mean, I'm talking if you're still going to be somewhere for years, but you're just not sure about it versus months. I'm not talking months. Months you can't do anything with. We're talking years.
I don't know. It depends on what your financial goals are. I mean, the housing market go up and down. So you could buy a house and end up not being able to sell it back for as much as you got it for. And then holding on to it to rent it. If you move it somewhere else, then you got to keep an eye on the house from far away. That's a lot of liability. What if they ruin your house?
Mm-hmm.
That ain't really something you want to deal with from far away.
Mm-mm.
You can't really get no management company unless you have a certain number of properties and a certain amount of income.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like you can be like, oh, I'm going to just leave this to someone else to do. So.
Because most management companies, you got to have at least 10 properties. Or four. Well, for a big firm, you got to have more than four for a big firm. And they handle everything.
I got to recheck it, but my older brother has a management firm for one of his properties, but he only has one property.
Wow.
So that's where I'm a little confused about that, because I think you can always just get a management company. You would think.
Wow.
It would probably make more sense if you had more houses, because you probably get a better deal. But if you just have one property, then probably pay a higher premium.
I'm pretty sure that if I had one property, I would be doing it myself, because I wouldn't want to pay nothing. I would rather just keep that profit for me, because it's just one property. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Because of everything you just said. I mean, you're not getting the optimal. Yeah. You're not getting the same rates as somebody who comes in there and, hey, look, I got 20 properties. No, this person is getting a much better rate than you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To me, it's a misnomer, because everyone is taught, renting is wasteful. It's not. If you're not ready to buy, buying becomes a liability, because you are responsible for everything. Yeah. Everything. If the house, case in point, you acquire a property. The property is 15 years old, whatever. Well, if you know anything about heating units, that's about when they go out, about year 15. And if it's if it's 2,000 or 3,000 square foot, it's got 2 different units. One, especially if it's 2 sections, you got one for upstairs and you got one for downstairs. And those things, depending on how many BTUs it is, those things can be anywhere between $8,000 and $25,000. And this is not payable, and payments is cash. And you have to consider all that. You have to take care of the lawn. You have to do all of these things. You have to keep up with the property taxes.
Mm-hmm.
You have to, you just can't. It's like Danielle was saying, you go out of town, you got to go by there, have somebody go by there and check and make sure your windows are still in. And did somebody break the windows out? That's why whenever I would acquire tax properties, I would sell them. I didn't want to rent them. I just sold them, collect the down payment to equal what, about what I had into it.
So essentially go the flipping route.
Yeah, because I'm not responsible. I'm the bank instead of being the landlord. I'm just the bank. Okay. So if I acquire a tax property for $350, takes 3 years to get a tax deed, but it doesn't matter because I'm gonna put $3,500, $5,000 into that property anyway. So if you want to try to get it back, you got to give me $5,000 off the rip plus 12% interest on the $5,000. So if you lost it for $300, the chances are you giving me $5,000 with interest is slim and none. So I can put somebody in that. You see what I'm saying? So I get $3,500 down, $600 a month, 10 years, it's yours. Those are the terms. Have a closing at a lawyer's office and be done with it, and it's your property. Make a big deal out of it, just like a regular closing. Congratulate them and everything. Do a little ribbon ceremony, all of that. Yeah. And plus it changes their psychological state because it's theirs. I'm all right, Nate. Thanks for asking. It changes their psychological state. People are less likely to ruin something that's theirs. See, if you renting it, they don't own it. It's not theirs. And they're gonna worry you to death. The light bulb, I need this. Even stuff that they could do, they won't do. But when you sell it, you finance it, that's different.
Would you be pushing your kids more towards buying renting or buying selling, buying flipping?
Buy flipping.
Buy and flip.
Yeah. One is more money. It's more money in the long run and in the short. Yeah. You can make the argument. Yeah. 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 When you time the market right.
If you time the market right, yeah.
Yeah. You buy it when the market is down, when prices are cheap, and then you get it ready, and then you flip it when the market comes back. You take all that time to get it ready. And then you sell it for a premium. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I get what you're saying. Yeah, the flipping manifesto. You buy for cheap, sell for high. Stocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Which if you got the, and it also depends on. That's what I would encourage my boys to do.
I don't know. It's because
because I just don't want that liability of I'm not a good landlord. I know I'm not. I know my weaknesses, and I'm just not. I would not be one. And I know I wouldn't. I would not. I would sell you a nice house, but if you think for 1 second I'm gonna come over there and then like do all this stuff and take care of this, that, and the third, I'm just not that guy. It's gonna end up costing me so much money because I'm not gonna cut the grass. I'm gonna hire somebody to do that. I'm not gonna do this other stuff. I'm gonna hire somebody to do that. And at the end of the damn day, by the time I get the rent, I made $400 damn dollars. I would rather just sell it. And this is me being honest. and knowing my
Listen,
strengths and my weaknesses. I'm not at this age messing with no house. Talking about renting it out. That's for a
Nick is
young
asking,
guy.
what do y'all think about buying a tiny house?
You need
They
to be
look
killing
cute.
this damn tiny house, man. And she like 6 foot tall, man. Yannick, write in the chat how tall you are. And don't tell when. Watch she go down 2 inches.
Yes, yeah. I don't know, because my whole mentality is just getting more property, get a bunch of property and rent them all out, because eventually that's just passive cash flow, just literally just being dumped. Once the first one is paid off, it's a much quicker process after that, because now you just have extra revenue just to tackle the second one with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Going that round sound good, but that means that you're not in that place just for a couple of years. That's not where you're gonna be.
What do you mean?
To stay somewhere and pay off a mortgage and then rent it out.
Why not just move to a different property and then rent out the one you were living in? I mean, that's how you can always change locations, in my opinion.
So you want to buy a house,
Buy a house,
rent it out,
live in it for a little bit,
mortgage, and go get another mortgage.
Yes.
See, he gonna
With
get
the
the interest on
the equity, pull out the equity and use it as a down payment for another.
So you want to go into debt.
You got to go into debt to make money.
He is, but he ain't.
Like,
because
no.
he's going into investment interest. It's an interest only loan. That's all. He's not being charged on the principal. It's only interest.
So when I was younger, I wanted to do that.
He makes max profit because all he.
When I was younger, I wanted to do that, but here we got the houses are cheap, and I wanted a 2-family flat, so that way while I'm living there, it's getting paid for.
Correct. Yeah.
So if I'm gonna do what you're doing, I wouldn't go with no single family home. I would go with multi-family.
No. That's what I don't. I mean, that's why for Yannick, that question is good. Me personally, I don't believe in buying a single family house unless I'm ready to settle down with a family. And even then, I'm still like, let's build our house or something. Because buying a single family house, it's just if you're not there with your family, it's not really doing much.
What about a single family tiny house? I want to get back to Yannick's question.
A single family tiny house.
It better be a single family house if it's a tiny house.
At 5'9".
I used to. Hold up, Yannick told it. Hold up, did she put her height in there?
5'9" and 7'8". That's 5'10".
She alive. She 5'10". She's 5'11" and 3/4. That's what she is. She's 6 foot really. She know it. She laughing right now. Cause she know I'm messing with her. I be messing with her about the tiny house. But let me tell you something. People be jumping on them tiny houses, bro. Like when she first, I dogged her about them. I dogged her, and then I started looking at them, and I was like, "Yo, people really be on these little bitty ass." It's not for me. That's not my thing. I've seen tents that was bigger than that.
Oh, wait, hold on.
But they're roomier than you think they are.
Let's see. Boom. There we go. A tiny house.
Yeah, you can just put them on the back of a trailer and just pull them around.
I've seen these before.
Yeah, tiny house.
Huh. I mean, it does look really nice. I always thought like an RV would actually be a pretty good investment in my opinion.
Right.
A nice RV.
Yeah. I just know I wouldn't mess with no tiny house. Cause
you're what, 6'3"?
Yeah, I'm
Like
like
that's
covering the whole door.
no, a tiny house wouldn't make sense to be
Look
honest
at her
with
talking about some damn tiny house nation.
you.
That's my sis though.
You know what? Let's move on to the next question.
All right.
More apartment buildings versus more housing. Should we start putting up more apartment buildings? Um, is that a smarter investment? Is that a smarter investment to build more apartments?
Yeah, because people are starting to change. That narrative is starting to change. People, especially this newer generation, they are looking at renting because they're being taught that renting is not wasteful and it is not as much as a liability as buying.
So all the people buying houses,
Hmm.
do you think there's still a certain charm about being in a house? Like, do you think people would still prefer be inside of a single family, renting one level of a single family, or I'm sorry, a two family, versus living in an apartment complex?
Well, I can rent a single family. What do you mean?
All right, yeah, they do rent single families.
Yeah,
But I'm still thinking renting one side of a two family
I'm not gonna rent
versus
no one side of nothing. I want the whole thing.
if you're gonna be renting. But we're thinking
Yeah.
the common person, the average person, the
Yeah, I don't
one
want nobody else in them tight spaces like that around me and my family. I don't know you like that, player. Mm-mm. I know what you're
single person.
talking
I'm
about.
talking a single person, singular person.
Oh, singular person.
Yes.
I'm sorry. What's the question then?
Jesus. So I was saying, for one single person, would it make sense for them to be wanting to live in one side of a two family as opposed to living in an apartment complex?
No, no. Why would I want to live on one side of anything? No, I want all of it.
Okay, so you're saying that you shouldn't even bother with trying to rent,
I,
or you shouldn't bother with trying to live in one side of anything. You should just go
I'm
for
not. Yeah, because if I'm living on one side, that implies that this is open. Meaning, at some point, it's gonna have another side, somebody else. You said on one side, right?
one
So if
side
it's
of
one,
a two family, a two family, a two family, two
right?
families. Yeah.
Exactly. Which means if I'm only on one side, that means the other side is up for open grabs, and I don't
Hmm.
know what might grab that. No, I'm gonna need the whole thing. That's what I'm trying to tell you, player. I don't
So
know.
you're
No,
trying to say
yeah,
it sounds like you're saying you
I'll,
don't rent, you just buy the whole thing or rent the
yeah,
whole.
I rent the whole thing. I don't know what this dude got going on. You ever seen the two family? See that the door is right there. Like if he breathes hard, if he snore, I can hear him.
I mean, I lived in a two family before. Yeah, I mean, but
Exactly.
it's usually
And
two
he,
separate entrances.
oh, well, and what if he just what if he got a issue?
What do you mean? Like a
What
mental
if
issue?
he got an issue? Yeah. What if he just weird? Anything. I would rather have the whole thing. To me, that's too close to me. Just this is like saying we're gonna rent you out this apartment. It's two bedrooms. You can have this bedroom, and they can come in from the balcony and have the other bedroom. No, 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 because I have to trust you, and I don't know you, so no. See what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying, but I think most people that rent aren't trying to really damage shit. I think most people that rent are just trying to live their life. I think the
Mm.
majority of people that rent are just trying to live their life.
Yes.
That's at least that's how I'm thinking about all of this. So
Yeah. Hey, teach his own. It's just me. That's just that's just how I am.
You're on the side of
I
caution.
think I think different. Like when I go out at night, I look in the back seat because my doors don't lock. I
Okay.
just think different.
That's
Yeah.
a normal thing though. I think it's always like check your backseat. I think that's a common thing.
Yeah, I check my
Unless
back seat.
people,
Ain't trying to have
unless
nobody surprising me.
yeah,
Yeah.
catch a surprise right there. Surprise them.
And that's not a real. And plus, you got to look at where I'm from. Like in the South, that is not a big thing. That's a up north type deal. You don't we don't rent places like that. They call them double tenant houses, and you
Really?
don't really see a lot of it. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, double tenant houses.
I guess the closer you get to the city, major cities, right? Is it?
Yeah, because you running out of space.
Yeah. So
So you
major
got to pack
cities
them in
are
there.
going to see a lot of like high
You see a
rises.
lot of them, just
Yeah.
like your brownstones.
Yeah. That
Because a
makes sense.
brownstone is just really expensive, but it's just a fancy double tenant that's been converted to a single family, and you pay a couple $1 million for it because you got a sidewalk and a stoop, and you somebody. You are somebody. You live in a brownstone.
Anybody who's anybody lives in Brownstone.
Yeah. Yeah, you tell them, oh, I live in a brownstone.
Listen, it works. It works.
Mm-hmm.
If you
In
live in
Manhattan.
Brownstone.
In Manhattan. You're like, okay then, daddy.
Listen, that's why you got to
I
question.
hear you.
You got to throw them for a loop. Are you really asking me that question? That's it. You got to think of a second guess himself. It's like, are you
Right.
really going to ask me why else would I say Brownstone? What do you think, Brownstone in New Jersey? And there you go. Put
Yeah.
that down in their mind, and they're
Like,
gonna
next.
it.
Huh. No couth.
And then later on, they're just like, oh, but you said, I did tell you that. I did say Brownstone in New Jersey. If you're not listening, Myers up here.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Business. Okay. Danielle left, but I'm curious on your thoughts on this video.
Okay.
Let me get it pulled up. Fair use. Fair use.
Is the starting point, not the end point. The way Housing First programs work is pretty simple. People experiencing homelessness receive independent housing immediately, without having to first fulfill mental health, sobriety, income, employment, or other requirements. Once they're housed, support services are offered, not imposed, and over time, the newly housed begin to finance part of the cost of their housing to the degree that they can afford it. It sounds pretty intuitive, but this is very different from the more common continuum of care or staircase approach we're mostly using. In continuum of care programs, homeless people are expected to make progress on any mental health or addiction issues they may have, and to pass a certain standard before being housed. In this system, housing is at the top of the staircase. These individual changes that these programs require are the sorts of things that are incredibly difficult to address when you are still contending with the anxiety of not having a home, possibly still sleeping on the street. In these continuum of care programs, only once you have demonstrated some change, which we should keep in mind is incredibly difficult to achieve without housing stability, do these programs graduate you into housing arrangements, first shared housing, and slowly over time independent housing. To some, continuum of care approaches sound great. That is, in theory. They map onto our society's values of meritocracy, of security, Only those who are
What do you think?
Yeah, I'm very I'm familiar with that.
Do
When
they
I
have
worked
that?
yeah, when I worked at Wellstone, um, you had to go out and you manage that. You have to check and see if they are managing their illness. If they miss an appointment or anything like that, they get called out. They miss an appointment. If they miss two, they're in jeopardy of going back to the overnight facility. When I say the overnight facility, that's the acute respite care facility. So they will get with the family, and the family will go to a judge and sign a committal request, and then they'll have mental health court, and they get committed, and they'll go into the program where they'll deal with somebody like me and get psychoeducation classes. And we'll talk about accountability. We'll talk about self-image. We'll talk about goal setting, creating action plans, and all this other stuff. And you lost your place. And you pretty much you lost your place. You got some people though, like Wellstone, they own the properties. They own the property. So like they might own 6 apartment complexes that have 20 apartments. They own it. You feel me?
Okay.
So this is just for their residents, but you have to meet goals to get there. And the whole goal, so theirs is so the way that Wellstone does it, it's a mix between continuum and the very first example that they gave.
It was continuum and it was like stair something.
Yeah. Like stair step approach. You muted, bro.
It's continuum of care. Housing first.
Yeah, housing first.
Housing first, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's a cross between the two.
So the continuum of care is the programs that I'm guessing we use a lot in the U.S.
Yeah, that's why your housing numbers, that's why your homeless numbers so high. How you expect somebody to manage a mental illness and you like you whole homeless, like you a whole homeless person? You don't think that's gonna
affect you?
Like,
I guess to people that don't know, you would assume like, oh, there's homeless
oh,
shelters.
they know, bro. They know. Like the people who run these programs have degrees in psychology, social work. Like they know. They know. They know anxiety is real. They know that. I mean, but this is you gotta watch the nonprofit aspect. Okay, you gotta watch that. All nonprofits are not innocent and meant to be good. Some nonprofits literally it's all about the CEO making money. And that's the fact.
Purpose of a nonprofit, huh?
Yeah, and you'll get somebody that probably a comment that don't know a thing about nonprofits or anything like that and swear it's controlled, and no, it's not. It is and it's not. Because you have it depends on how you set up everything. And some people and you're not going to get audited. You're not going to trigger an audit as long as you're within reason. But some nonprofits is all they're worried about. It's like how much money they get. And so they don't pay, they don't pay the workers well. And they say that they can't afford to, but that's not true because they operate with grants also, plus donations.
Okay.
So you gotta take all that into consideration.
Let's get some shout outs.
Sometimes it's just not good to run it the way it's supposed to.
Shout out to Neek trying to survive. All right. It's read improperly, but it's okay. Neek, thank you for keeping the chat alive. I love you for that. Thank you. Sister to Sister podcast. We got to get in touch. I feel like
what's happening
before, but Sister to Sister podcast. Yeah, you've definitely been here a lot, and I appreciate you coming back. But we definitely got to get in touch and get you up on the panel sometime. We'd love to have that. And E Black, I wasn't able to see your show earlier, but I dropped in and dropped a like for you, man. You were going through the Urban Dictionary, so that was an interesting show. I kind of want to see what was that all about. But Danielle, were you able to catch any of the video?
No. That was Domino's calling me, telling me my food was here. So I had to jump off and go get my food.
She got a lava cake.
I got a what?
A lava cake.
I did.
You got a lava cake?
Yes. I got pizza, and I did get a lava cake.
Okay.
A lava cake jumping.
Yeah, my phone sucked. I had to do it on my computer, so we definitely have to do a show soon. Definitely. It was wild. Yeah, I bet you guys were. I don't even know. But all right, so we're gonna do a repeat of the. I'm actually gonna do a repeat because I do want to get your opinion on this as well, Danielle. So. Do me a favor, mute your mics. Fair use.
Temporary emergency solutions. You need permanent housing right out the gate. In other words, housing is the starting point, not the end point. The way Housing First programs work is pretty simple. People experiencing homelessness receive independent housing immediately, without having to first fulfill mental health, sobriety, income, employment, or other requirements. Once they're housed, support services are offered, not imposed, and over time, the newly housed begin to finance part of the cost of their housing to the degree that they can afford it. It sounds pretty intuitive, but this is very different from the more common continuum of care or staircase approach we're mostly using. In continuum of care programs, homeless people are expected to make progress on any mental health or addiction issues they may have, and to pass a certain standard before being housed. In this system, housing is at the top of the staircase. These individual changes that these programs require are the sorts of things that are incredibly difficult to address when you are still contending with the anxiety of not having a home, possibly still sleeping on the street. In these continuum of care programs, only once you have demonstrated some change, which we should keep in mind is incredibly difficult to achieve without housing stability, do these programs graduate you into housing arrangements. First shared housing, and slowly over time, independent housing. To some, continuum of care approaches sound great. That is, in theory. They map onto our society's values of meritocracy, of security. Only those who are deserving get access to the prize of having a home. Under this mentality, if you don't have a home, it must be because you're just not good enough yet. Come back later. It should be obvious that these programs just don't work. Not only do they strip people of their agency and come with an enormous moral burden, but recidivism is high and a huge number of people don't make it into.
That's so sad.
Yeah. I thought that was a pretty interesting video of how Finland is definitely tackling this homelessness crisis. And we're only, I guess, finding ways to make it worse, essentially. But yeah,
Finland do a lot of stuff that's different.
Finland? It's a lot of European countries, isn't it?
Finland just do a lot of stuff different, bro. You ought to go and look at how they do their prison, bro.
I actually, is that the one where there's they don't carry
no
guns?
Gates.
Yeah,
bro. There's no gates. There's no boundaries. You live in an apartment. You don't. You live like a regular.
You got a job. You got a bed. I don't even think, there was one, that same exact prison, that same paper that I did, the warden was actually, the warden was housing one of the inmates who murdered his parents and chopped them up into bits, like legit. Like, murdered his parents, chopped them up into bits. And he was housing this inmate that did that. And there were no cells, no walls, no nothing like that. And he was just like, listen, this is the best way to try to reform these people. We got to give them a chance. And it's a tough concept. And I guess crazy. It's a tough concept for us to grasp, like trying to help other people. And
but they don't have no incidences.
I mean, like that.
They don't have no incidences.
They
don't have. They don't have no incidences. They don't have. They don't deal with forced sexuality either. They don't deal with inmate rape. They don't deal with none of that because you don't have the mindset of an inmate or a convict. You have a mindset of a person who is off in some place other than your regular place, but you're not in an environment where you are locked down looking at these cells and these clean and all this other stuff. All that stuff works on your psyche. This man is completely free. Like, they free. You don't dress out no kind of way. You got regular clothes on. You eat regular food. And they just don't do nothing. Like, which I wouldn't do nothing either. I can't wait. Like, especially if my life wasn't that good. I'm like, shoot, I know I come up for parole. Can I just stay a couple of more years, get it figured out a little bit? Nah, they do. They have programs to help them when they get out too.
I know.
And they don't deal with all that institutionalized either. Institutionalization. Don't deal with all that either.
Institutionally, what do you mean by that?
So, people who commit crimes is treated better than homeless people?
Where?
In Finland?
Where?
Finland, their homelessness rate is almost like nothing.
Non-existent.
Yeah. Because they have programs like that where it's like you're helping this person reform by first giving them housing, by like actually.
Oh, Finland give you the house first.
Yes, that's what the whole.
I thought they was the other way around.
No, that's what we do here, and that's why people like return to being homeless. Like, it's almost like once you start being homeless, you can't not be.
You got to always work for something. 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 You got to work for your freedom. You got to work for this. You got to work for your other part of your contract. I mean, it's always been like that.
I don't think you spoke about what you thought of the video, Danielle. We kind of went off on a tangent. Well said. Well said. Gonna say something, Danielle?
Me?
Yeah. And so what do you think about the video?
I thought it was sad that they got to go through all that to get somewhere to stay.
Okay.
I think that they don't care. What's wrong with working? There's nothing wrong with working.
When you can work.
If you can work. I mean, you also got to think like some of these people that ended up on the street, there's someone that, hell, they probably broke their leg. Doctor put them on pain meds. And just like that, they got hooked on drugs. And spiraled down a dark path, and now they're homeless. It wasn't exactly their fault.
Man, you got people who was schizophrenic. They actually, it was inherited. They started manifesting when they was 25, had a promising career. I done seen girls 25, 26 years old. One day they're at Alabama A&M, and then they have a whole full-blown episode. And then now they fully diagnosed. And now they just not the same. I mean, sitting there looking around, talking about they gonna get me. They gonna get me. You see them, I know you see them. And nobody saw this. Like it just manifested. Like it just manifested itself. There was the precursor gene was already there, but it didn't manifest itself to this birthday. Nobody never knew nothing. So now this girl done been in school all this time, and the chances of her being able to work and manage this is gonna be kind of hard. You understand what I'm saying? Because you fixing to have to take some very strong psychotropic medicine. Period. To keep you from having those episodes. Period. I mean, it's a whole lot of it's a whole bipolarism, bipolar 2 disorder. I mean, it's a whole lot of stuff that people just can't manage. And because they can't manage it, you just can't work. Because you snapping. And you have somebody like, why don't you just control? Because a person with bipolarism can't control their temper. They whole face and everything get hot. Like they want to just go completely overreactive. You know what I'm saying? Or they stay up all night, can't sleep. Watch the sun come up. So then they come to work late. They fall asleep at work. Why? Because they wake sleep cycle is all messed up. I mean, mental illness is a very serious thing. And for you to make somebody control that before they can get housing, that's just wrong.
You got to be working for something, right?
You know, the citizens should pay for the week. Yeah, that's what the citizens should do. In any country, the citizens should always pay, especially those who are very well off. They should always support those who are the weak and the underprivileged.
I mean, I think it's just always. I'd much rather tax money go into helping the people there as opposed to tax money just goes to the government. So,
I mean, I'd rather my tax money go there instead of trying to figure out how to make a uterus for a man. How about that?
Yeah. Cam up, CJ. Cam up. Cam up, bruh. I completely disagree. I'm going to drop the link. Respectfully. The hell is wrong with this man?
Who is that?
That's CJ.
No, that's not.
That's CJ.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, hell.
I don't know. I disagree with that. Like, this is a pretty good, like, if we're already going to be getting the taxes taken out of our checks every month, then might as well go into helping people that actually need the help. Like, there's still programs that they got to go through. There's programs that you have to go through to still be eligible for this. But what they're doing is first eliminating one step out of your way. If we all could help anyone, we most likely would. So this is the same exact thing. Except people don't look at it that way.
I don't mind helping people.
I don't think in America we do stuff to help people.
No.
Not really. That's not the standard of America. The standard here is just to make money.
Yeah.
It's a land opportunity. I guess that's what being in the land of opportunity does. It's most people are going to step on the other person to get ahead. That's what opportunity is, really. Right? Yeah. That's a good one. All right. So if CJ can come on, but before that, we're going to hop on to the next question of the night. Let's do this one. We should live in our parents' house until we can purchase a house. We should live in our parents' houses until we can purchase a house. Danielle?
I agree with that. I said I wanted that for my children. I don't want to just have them reach an age and put them out. Just to put them into that. I don't want them to leave until they ready, so they can actually thrive, not just be able to pay for something.
I agree with that.
And like I said, I wouldn't want them to go out and buy no single family home. I would want their first home to be a multi-family home, if that's the route they're gonna go in buying a home. Because I have boys, so the home that you buy is not gonna be your home. Like I would hope that they're gonna pick out their home that they're gonna live in with their wife.
The actual home. Yeah.
Yeah.
The actual single family.
Yeah.
John, what do you think?
Nope.
If they don't want to purchase, then it ain't no reason to leave. As long as you doing something, you ain't about to sit around and do anything or do nothing. But as long as they ain't getting on my nerves, I don't really care. I think it's they have to buy their own food though, because they're gonna be greedy.
Shout out to you, Mr. Best in the World. Shout out to Knowledge and Relationships. Thank you guys for stopping by. Of course, with E Black and CJ as well. Appreciate you guys. So elaborate your point, John.
Shit. No, man, my boys already know the deal, bro. Like you either going to school or you going to work, and you're gonna get your first and last, and it's time for you to be a young man and get a taste of paying bills. Like that's just the way that's go. I'm not gonna hold your hand and nurture your ass through life. You're a man. You have to learn how to get it. My mom tried to nurture me like that, and I made every mistake in the fucking world because I had a safety blanket. I was the only motherfucker I knew I could call, get 2,500, 5,000. I wasn't managing money for shit because I had it like that. Dad made good money, mom made good money, and I had no respect for money because I didn't have to worry about it. Even when I was in the military, I spend my whole check, then I call her and get $2,000 or $3,000 just so I could look like I got it. You know what I'm saying? And that was, I was writing bad checks, every fucking thing. I did everything in the fucking world that was wrong. But that's what happens when you do that. You gotta, the best way for you to learn is to hit it, is to do it. And you have no help. Like, you have unknown help. Like, you got help, but you don't know you got that help. You feel me? Like, I knew I had the fucking help. I knew I had it. But when my dad came to me and he said, you know, I ain't said nothing all this time, but son, you cut off.
Ooh.
And if your mama don't like it, she can do something different. Period. But you cut off. And as her husband, I have spoken. When he said as her husband, I have spoken. And that was the end of that. And when she cut me off, I did not fucking like it. I was mad and it was rough, but it got better. It got better. It wasn't like it was a complete turnaround. I was still fucking up, but I knew I ain't had no help. So I had to really think about shit. Like I knew I couldn't just spend all this. Like I had to pull money out, pay this. I had to pull money out, pay that. And eventually I got a hike.
I think that's generally how men need to learn though.
Yeah, you're a man.
Yeah. Like my dad grew up traveling the world because he left his house at 13, but he kicked me out of the house. But I mean, now we have a good relationship because I saw the value of me getting kicked out of the house. I actually had to learn shit for myself.
Right.
You know, and even now, like when we talk, I tell him like, you know, yeah, it was an interesting way to have to learn, but it still benefited me in the end. I have so much more respect for money now, my money, my time, and it coming out of my own pockets. Like it's all mine now. So no one's gonna be
So y'all
looking
not
at
able to learn how to be responsible without having to bump your head?
It just don't work like that sometimes.
it's less about the bump the head and more about
The
bump is
safety
gonna keep
nets.
happening over and over, and you need to learn to get up after it happens.
Like you gotta have the exposure to that. Like not exposing it, like not them never having experienced it is not the same thing as like learning not what to do, so you don't never have to experience it. Like sometimes you just need to experience it. You need to just go through it
Yeah.
so you understand and you can feel it and you feel
Yeah.
the magnitude of it.
It's
Like when you feel that shit, that's different. I can't really explain it, but when you feel it, shit. When you know help ain't coming, you start looking at them paychecks a different way. You start saving that money. All of a sudden now you can tell people no. All of a sudden you don't need to go out this weekend. All of a sudden them shoes ain't that damn nice. The watch you thought you was gonna get, that's some bitch weight. Layaway is real. I mean, you just start looking at shit a different way.
You can't learn that growing up.
Let's get CJ's thoughts in on this.
Oh,
CJ, the high value nurse, my man, what's going on?
Grinding, man. Took the time up. Just at work, you told me to pull up, so I had to pull up for a second. I was commenting from my ad-free account. So yeah.
Yeah, you messed me up, man. I was like, who is that? It says CJ. I said, I ain't CJ.
No, yeah, that was me.
I said, I see now.
Yeah, that's the ad-free joint. Well, about leaving the house at 18, yeah, I think men should be out the house at 18 for sure.
Oh, okay. I think you were gonna address your
So
the citizen of Finland.
I didn't catch the whole video, right? So if you could just brush me up real quick. So from all I got from it was the citizens of Finland, they have a program for the homeless people that gets them back on the right track. Is that what it is?
Correct. Yes.
Right.
So they give them the housing, right? And then eventually, and then they receive like a case manager to help them. But they don't have to they might have mental illness and all this other stuff, but you don't have to manage all that right now. The case manager helps you while you are already in the house. And they start, helping you with money, managing money, and eventually you start paying toward the obligation on your own because they put action plans in the work for you, but you are no longer homeless, so you can actually think, you can focus because they gave you a place to stay up front. Whereas in the United States, it's like you gotta earn to get a place. So it's like most people don't even want to go through with it.
Yeah, mental health has to be clear. You gotta, everything has to check out before you can get a place to stay.
Yeah.
And the whole idea behind that is you can't check all these boxes if you're constantly stressed about where you're gonna be sleeping.
Yeah.
And that's the whole angle that they're taking, which is why it needs to come from, listen, the money is coming from somewhere. Why not just take it out of the taxes that we're already paying?
So from what I thought, so I just missed the part then because I thought they were giving people homes straight up out the gate. I thought they were just giving people homes.
No, man.
No, we wouldn't agree with that.
And that's why I came in on the tail end. I'm like, and they paying for that, and they just giving people homes for no reason, even if they homeless or not.
No, we're not Oprah.
Yeah. Well,
if I was a billionaire, real talk, I'd do some shit like that.
I look at it like this. I enjoy living in a capitalist society. I feel like it brings out the best in you. I'm not saying people don't need help, but if you, because people do need help, everybody's not on 10 at all times. And I'm
right.
but I'm not a believer. Like, I believe you got to put in work. And if you are putting in work within these programs and these programs are making you prove that you are actually putting in the right work, then fine. That's cool. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But all that handout stuff, I ain't feeling that. Just for the sake of being, if you ain't even trying to really put in the work, I don't dig that. But everybody could be, anything could happen to anybody, and people deserve second chances. So if that's the case, and the person is actually seeking redemption and doing what they're supposed to do, then yeah, absolutely. I ain't mad at that. I don't like the people who bleed the system.
Oh,
that's my issue.
Those are the people that are going to try to, but I think that's what's so good about this system, which is that you get handed a case manager, and someone is going to be checking, like, okay, are you actually trying to get clean? Are you actually trying to find a job? Are you actually trying to do these things? Because if not, then you get knocked back, and someone else is going to come up and take your spot.
Yeah,
so like at that point, it's like someone is giving you a handout now, and you're still choosing to be homeless.
Right. Like, unlike in America where you could be on the welfare system forever.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, like, essentially you could, especially with women, as long as you don't have a man in the house. I mean, you get government set-asides and all that kind of stuff.
All you gotta do is tell them you don't know who your baby daddy is.
Right. And I mean,
just tell them I was a hoe. I don't know who he is.
I know people on disability who not disabled and that are bleeding the system. So, like, I had heard Danielle say that America doesn't try to help people. I think that's the complete opposite.
1 second, CJ. 1 second. Mr. Best in the world, man. Thanks for
coming. Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Doing good. Good to see everybody on the panel. Shout out to everybody, most definitely. Happy holidays, y'all.
Happy holidays.
Yeah. Good to see y'all. With that being said, I believe, to answer the question and also to kind of piggyback off of what you guys are saying, I think, but it also depends on the culture. You know what I mean? So some cultures, you have to, they have arranged marriages, the parents pick out everything. They pick out where you're going to live. They pick out where you're going to work. They pick out everything. You know what I'm saying? So it depends on the culture, of that person. Because some cultures, they'll take, I'm sorry, what are you saying?
Like, what do you mean by it depends on the person's culture? Like, what do you mean by that?
So basically,
that's pertaining to what?
And pertaining to basically, if the child should live with the parents or purchase their own home. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So like I said, in some cultures, they pick where you're going to live, where you're going to work, and everything else. They even pick who you're going to marry. You know what I'm saying? So it depends on the culture and that person. And I think that, and that's where we have to really have an understanding that, within, let's just say, our culture here in America as African people, it's different. And it's also different based on what religions we practice too. So based on that, with us, it depends on kind of what you want to do. I do believe myself that you basically should take care of your kids and do what you got to do as a parent. You know what I mean? As long as your kids are willing to do what they have to do and make themselves better and be productive. But in some cultures, they don't even care if their kids are on drugs. They don't care what the kids are going to do. They're going to take care of their kids regardless, because it's all about family reputation. So I know one family where it was I believe they were Jewish, and the child had decided to live on the streets. He had mental health issues. He was doing heroin, and he was just a straight just dope head. And the mother, before she passed, she told her daughter, she said, I don't care how much drugs he does. I don't care what he's doing. You make sure you put this amount of money in his bank account. You make sure that he always lives at this place. And that's just part of their culture. Some people be like, well, that woman is crazy. Why is she supporting a drug addict? But that's her son. That's what she would decide to do. So that's a big thing. And to kind of talk about the capitalism part of this whole situation, capitalism is kind of how you feel about it. That's an opinion-based thing. I don't like it per se, because I feel like the rules of capitalism and the rules of American society it was never based for us as a people, and it was never built for us as a people. It's built for the colonizer and the oppressor. That's what it was built for. the rules, the amendments, everything is built for them. So
Okay, really quick, hold on, give me 1 second.
Yes.
I'm gonna circle back to something you said, but I'm gonna throw it at Danielle. Danielle, he was saying about the two the two different ideas that he was talking about, whether it's having that kid in the house, even though they're doing everything poorly, wrong, they're not following anything you say, versus kicking them out of the house. Which
No,
one
my
do you
kid
more
can't stay if you're not productive.
So you're in working, you're gone.
Yeah, you're not getting no free ride. You're not here to be irresponsible like John was doing. That's not what you're here for. You're here to get yourself a good start to life. So you're going to be working or you're going to be productive doing something. You're not about to be splurging your money like that, because if that's what you're doing, then you still got to get out. Like, my children are learning money management now. I'm teaching them that money is a tool now. I'm showing them how to save and spend now. That's not something they're going to have to learn when they get older. Like, that's too late.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, you can't be doing anything living with me. You can do anything in your own house. But here, you're going to have rules. You're going to have to be doing something. You're going to have to be saving your money. You can't be just here. This is not forever.
DJ, what do you think of that?
What do I think of what Danielle said?
Those two options, what Danielle said as well, but yeah, those two options. Which one do you more side with? You're keeping that kid around, you're gonna still try to reform them, or if they don't get with the program, you're out.
Well, I can't. I mean, how somebody decides to parent, that's their choice. But in my personal opinion, I don't think a man should be at home at over 18. I really don't. I feel like experience is the best teacher. Now, if that child falls, you'll be there to have their back. But I feel like you teach them, from a kid to adulthood, and then you teach them how to get it on their own, because like the world is not going to hold your hand. So, it's just like nursing. Like, yeah, we can read it in a book, but you don't know it until you actually out there in the field.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's called applied knowledge.
Yeah,
we can talk about it. At some point, you got to get tested on that shit. At some point, you got to be faced with a decision.
I'm not saying it's wrong, but I just don't agree with it. I just think men should be out by 18.
Men should be out by 18.
Yeah, you got to feel that temptation. I mean, if not, all you got is theory. It's just theory.
And that don't mean they can't come back home if something go left, especially if they leave right. They leave the right way. They're not disrespectful. If something happens and they need their parents to help them, that's what you were supposed to do as a parent.
If you do that shit right, they would just ask questions. They'd be like, "Hey, what about this, Dad? Hey, what about what I do in this situation, right?" And then, okay, blah, blah, blah. All right. And then you just kind of go back over what you already taught them. Like, how many months rent you got saved up? Well, I got 4 months. I said, tell you what, right? If you save 1 more month, I'm going to give you 2 more months. How about that? Bet. So then he come to me, save it, then I give him 2 more. So now you got 6. That's because you're supposed to have 6 months in your envelope. And anybody that would follow Dave Ramsey, you know what I'm talking about. Right? So that's what I'm talking about.
Are you more on the side of you're keeping that son there to reform him or kicking him out?
No, son. Son is leaving. Son will learn. Yeah, he is out of here. You understand what I'm telling you? Let me tell you something. 2 lions cannot share the same mountain. You understand?
That's a whole.
So this one right here is the whole savage. You understand? And
that's a whole fact.
They baby savages. You feel me? And they mess around and say the right thing and end up maimed. Then people looking at me crazy, like I done did something wrong. No, you smelling your ass. You like girls and all this other shit. You need to be on your own. You need to learn how to manage a home. There's ain't nothing wrong with it. It's all right. Get your little studio. I help you find your place. All of that. It's okay. It's perfectly okay. I'll be right around if you need me.
So boys need to be out of the house. Mr. Best in the World, what do you think?
I think that's subjective, basically based on your experience, because I know, and that comes from two things. One, because I grew up in Brownsville, Brooklyn, New York, which is the poorest of the poor, but now I live in Silicon Valley, which is one of the wealthiest places in the world to live in. So yeah, it is.
Yes.
I've done well for myself. I'll say that. And I know families. One of my friends he's a computer technician like I am. He's certified as well.
I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah. And his family, they're from the Caribbean. They're Jamaican, and his parents still help him pay for stuff. They still help him take money out on his home. They still come to his house and buy stuff for him, help him with his cars, all types of stuff. But that's their culture. That's based on culture. So our rules and our perception is based on our culture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Based on how we grew up and what we
talking
believe.
I'm talking yours personally.
Me personally?
Yeah. You had a kid, he's acting up, or he or she's acting up, or both.
Yeah.
Not really
the little nigga just being good.
Yeah, but are you keeping them around? You're holding them in that house till I guess you can just keep them around.
Yeah, if I had the money and resources to take care of my kids or just any kids in my family, I would do it. I would talk to them about different things in life. I'll let them be aware of how it is to be a black person in this country, of course. But at the end of the day, I'm still going to do what I can to take care of them. You know what I mean? What they do with that is up to them. But I know I've done my part. You know what I mean? I can live with that. You know what I mean? So yeah.
All right. So you're gonna keep them in the house. You want to hold them there?
If I need to, then yeah. If I need to, then yeah. But if they get to the point where they need help with, if they need like mental help or they have a drug habit or whatever, of course I'm gonna try to get them the help that they need. Different. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
no. The whole idea is what were you saying, John?
Yeah, that's where I'm coming in at. That's assuming that the child is typically developing. You feel me? So it's not like
this is a regular child. Regular child developing just fine.
I was about to say, why are we jumping to the conclusion that something wrong with the kid?
No. It's not, I mean,
hey, if that little nigga, hey, fella. Sign your lease. We signed your lease today. Remember that. I even bought you some furniture.
CJ, I don't think we ever got you. You started answering this, but I don't think we ever got to you on this. We should live in our parents' house until we can purchase a house.
See, my aspect on home ownership is a little different. So I think that's really a case by case basis because I don't want at this point in my life, I don't want a house. It will make no sense for me to get a house because I'm not mowing the lawn. I'm not shoveling snow. I'm not doing none of that shit. I'm not plumbing. I'm not doing none of it. All I want to do is come and go. I'm not home enough to really enjoy a house, especially with me being a travel nurse and me, going on vacation and stuff the way I do. It will. I was just talking to Didi about this yesterday. I'm like, it will make absolutely no sense for us to buy a house.
At that point, it's a liability.
It may not be a liability for the person that want it, but I'm just speaking for me. It will make no
for
sense.
you, I mean,
straight with a condo, you know what I'm saying, or something like that. But honestly,
or a townhouse. What about a townhouse?
Or a townhouse, yeah. But I found out a lot of millionaires rent.
What? Yeah.
Most millionaires rent their homes. I mean, rent where they live at. So I just thought that was interesting. But I'm just saying, like, nah. But as far as kicking a kid out so he can buy a home, you don't need a home to be successful. I mean, 18 years old, nah, go get you an apartment. You start out with something small first, then work your way up. But because I know for damn sure I ain't shoveling or fixing nothing. I need the apartment to come through that. I'll work too much to be worried about that.
I'm with you. That's what I was telling him earlier. I'm like, I ain't doing none of that shit. Like none of that. I'm finna hire somebody to do all of that.
It builds character. Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No, I build character getting out there working. That would build character. But no, if it's for you, it's for you.
Builds more character than
I ain't
patch
knocking
and sheetrock, you know.
No, sir.
You don't want to see me try to do no damn.
Girls. Oh no, my girls. I'm gonna be a little bit more protective of my girls. Yeah, for sure. I'm not kicking my girls out of 18, unless they want to go. But I'm not saying you gotta go because it's not the same.
Nah.
So yeah,
the girls ain't gotta go.
Okay. Did everyone answer this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're going to go on to the fourth question of the night. With housing on the rise, is a house worth buying? With housing on the rise, is a house worth buying? John, you're itching over there.
No, you already know my answer. No.
No, not worth.
No, not for me. To each his own, but not for me. That's how I look at at housing and any investment. Yeah. It's on its way up. I don't buy on the up. I buy the dip.
I think we're on the opposite spectrums here, but you've actually probably lived it more than I have. So, Danielle, what do you say?
If that's what you want to do. I mean, everybody not looking at it from being an investor. Some people just want a house.
If you just want a house, it'd still be smart to buy now.
You said what?
If you want a house, it would still be smart to buy now.
I don't know about it being smart, but I mean, worth is subjective. If you want a house and you can afford it, then to a person who want a house, then it's worth it.
And it's subjective until your ass get ready to sell it, and then it's objectively in the water.
But that's what I'm saying. It depends on if that's how they're looking at it.
Yeah, so you just better hold on to that.
Everybody's not looking at buying a house as an investment like that.
It's an investment. Is that a problem? Should more people look at it in that way?
I mean, when you buy a house, man, you're supposed to be looking at the equitable factor in the house, man. Because that's what puts you in a. That's where when you can start talking about having equity, that is what makes it advantageous to buy a house over renting. If you are not in an equitable position, then the person who is renting is in a better position because they're not tied to that property. They don't have to maintain that property. They can tell you, I'm out from this motherfucker and give you first and last and leave, clean it up. You know what I'm saying? Get them a couple of folks come in, clean it up and move and go do something different. You don't have to worry about no taxes, none of that. So, but when you got an equitable position, that's different. I don't care if it's $10,000 or $15,000 worth of equity. That's different. Why is that different? Because you can refinance and grab that $20,000 out and reinvest it. If you can grab that out at a 2.5% interest rate and hit it on the market and grow 4.9, you do the difference. But you think people don't do that? You think they don't take out equity loans and put it in the stock market? Yeah, they do.
Sure do.
All day they do.
100%.
That's exactly what they do with it. Or they go and borrow money. They go and buy a car and pay cash. They go to their banker and say they got $50,000, $60,000. They go and refinance the whole house and put the car in there at a credit union. They redo the loan and they pay cash for the car. And then they only have one payment on the house financed over 30 years. And they got a brand new car. Yeah, a house has some advantages, but you got to have equity. Now, if you negative equity, that shit is negative $120,000. You can't do none of this shit I'm talking about. You just
That's why
you gotta wait.
That's why when your house. That's why it's house hacking. The first thing you do is you buy something and you look to try to fix it up or increase its property value as quickly as you can. I mean, it's simple things too. It's paint the walls, change the light bulbs, like simple.
Hardwood floors, crown molding.
They got whole shows on that. Like they got a show actually on the DIY channel on based in Detroit where these two white guys, they go to the hood, they fix them up and they buy them up and they sell them. That's what my dad does. And in the state of Michigan, if you buy up a lot of houses, the government will give you an incentive to buy houses. It's like, because my dad owns group homes. So like if you own like a group home, they'll give you money to run and fund a group home. You dig? So it just depends on what your mentality is.
They'll do a halfway house too.
Yeah,
they'll do a halfway house too.
Yeah, and I'm not
I
about
helped my homegirl get one.
Somebody that's interested in that kind of thing, buying a house could be a major advantage. It with really a lot of profit to come along with it. But me, F that. I ain't about that.
Males,
males
was like $2,500 each. Females was like $1,800 each. So if you had like let's say you had a 4-bedroom male situation, so you got all of them, and that's every month. So you got 4 people at $2,500 each in that halfway house, and you just have one halfway house. That's plenty. That's plenty bread, bro. That's plenty bread. 10,000, yeah.
Oh, and if you got and if you run like a mental group home, like they was getting so much money, like the worse the case, the more they would get. So at one point we had a guy when I used to work in the group homes, we had a guy that he was getting like $20,000 a month just for him alone. But his case was bad. He was swinging on people and all that kind of stuff. So, he was a bad case. But yeah, the worse the patient, the more bread you get. So.
Damn.
See, down here, if I was to open up a full service group home, I qualify for like a $7 million grant.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, but it's got to be full service.
It would definitely be in the South. I would not buy one in the Midwest or on the West Coast or on the East Coast. I would definitely buy a house in the South if I was to buy a house. Yeah, you're gonna get the best bang for your buck. Period.
Yeah.
Period. But at that point, you're talking all that stuff that you don't want to do. You're going to talk doing a lot more of it.
What's that?
A lot more lawn to take care of. A lot more house to take care of.
Right.
Under what?
House.
Yeah. In the South. Yeah. The South, you have a lot more land. Yeah. A lot more land. A lot more house. Yeah.
We have more contractors here too. Yeah.
For a house though.
Yeah. We have people who like to cut grass. We have people who like to do all those things that I hate doing. I just want to say that. We have a lot of people that I'm not trying to unemploy nobody. You do drywall? I need somebody to do drywall. You cut grass?
Me and John on the same page.
I swear, I need somebody to cut grass, young man.
Listen, I used to be that. And that's why I wanted to very much. Originally, I started off with a condo. Then I went to a townhouse. And now I'm just saying, listen, I'm just going to.
Bro, you just got to know, like, I own being lazy. I do. I own being lazy, bro. I stayed in school for a long time to never do manual work. Never do manual labor. I'm not. I ain't cut out for it. I don't like it. I just don't like it. And I know I don't like it. And that's okay. If you like doing it, that's your thing. But I don't like doing it.
That's right.
Don't judge me.
Yeah. I'm not the handyman.
I just don't like doing it.
I'm not a handyman, but I'm a good provider. And I can pay for the handyman. I can pay for the handyman.
That's my thing. Like, I didn't have a dad showing me how to do all this stuff. And, little boy, hey, look in here, 16 inches apart. You got your studs, all right? You just tap on that wall. And that's how you find them or whatever you do. No, I want to hire somebody who daddy taught them how to do that. And they use this electric thing called a stud finder and not tapping on my damn walls guessing. but they actually hit that laser. Yeah. Yeah, I ain't trying to unemploy nobody. Yeah.
Do you think there's a lot less men actually willing to do that stuff?
No, I think it's a lot of brothers that want to do it. I think it's a lot of dudes that want to do it. I just don't want to do it.
Bro, it seems like every summer somebody opens a damn lawn care. Like every summer, like somebody is just getting a
The lawn care is good, but the trades are dying though. The trades,
what trades?
Themselves,
like
trades, what? Like plumbing, HVAC, electric. There's a lot less young kids going into the trades.
Yeah, because it's not sexy. It's not a sexy career field. They don't promote it like they do other stuff like nursing. They promote nursing as being so sexy and all that kind of stuff. And I'm a big advocate for going to get a trade. You know what I'm saying? Like I was a truck driver before. So if this ever fell off, I would get right back in the truck, even though I hated it. But it is what it is. I got another skill. So I believe every man should be able to have, you need more than one hustle in life, period. You know what I'm saying? Just in case. You always need a way to make more money or different streams of income.
I think there's three reasons that the
I don't work no 300
trades
hours a
fell
day.
off, right? One, the mother's getting in the way of the dads. The mother's getting in the way of the dads. The dads wanting better for their sons. Like they didn't really want them to do it no way. Like instead of them finding honor in their skill and passing it on to their son, they wanted their son to do something different when they should have just gave them that skill because it's a very, very good skill to have. And then probably the other thing is that, other careers are just more attractive. Seemingly easier, but that'll fool your ass because it ain't nothing easy about nursing. My boy,
it's technically easier, but there's gonna be a lot more people in it. You're gonna be doing far more.
Nah, it ain't even easy. It's easy for your ass to flunk out of it. That's what's easy. That's a fact.
What was easy? I didn't hear that last part.
It's easy for you to flunk out of nursing. That's the only thing that's easy.
That's real easy.
That's the only damn thing that's easy about it. Like some people can't even get in it. It's pretty competitive.
I don't know, my job pretty easy right now.
But now once you in it,
that's the hard part.
It's different. Once you pass that NCLEX, once you take that damn test and that thing stop going, and you like, thank you, Jesus, I passed. And then you get your card, and there you go.
Is Mr. Bessenworld still there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Did we come to you with a housing on the rise, a house worth buying?
No, you didn't. But I know they was talking, so it's cool. But yeah, I don't think that it's important. It depends on what quality of living that you want. If you don't want a home and you want to just have a condo or you want to have your apartment, that's on you. As long whatever you decide, make sure it's financially, empowering to you, and that is not becoming a detriment to you. That's the biggest picture. Because sometimes people just want a home to try to keep up with the Joneses or try to impress their family, and you can't even afford that home. You know what I mean? You basically you self-sabotaging yourself. You know what I mean? You hustling backwards.
And that's when that shit becomes a liability.
Exactly.
You was not ready, and you just end up losing the damn thing because all these things start fucking happening because you got to pay for it.
Exactly.
Your heat no went out.
Or something like that.
Yeah, you just was not ready. You needed about 20,000 in the bank, but you didn't have it. You trying to listen to everybody else and just do it. You shouldn't have did it.
Yeah, me personally, I don't care for a home because, as High Value Nurse was saying, it's a lot of upkeep. So way too much upkeep. And I ain't trying to fix no pipes. I ain't trying to pay nobody to do that. I don't want to pay no landscapers, none of that. You know what I mean? Just give me some place where I can live and I'm comfortable and that I can afford and that is financially empowering to me, and I'm good. And I just want to be able to park my car. That's all.
Them housing societies and shit,
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Rancher, we've noticed that you've not been on night watch the last 3 nights. Are you not participating? I'm
That's
sorry.
more
I
like
didn't
what?
think I didn't think y'all wanted the black man walking around at night around y'all nice Benzes, but okay. Just tell your husband that it's me walking around. I ain't trying to have a Trayvon Martin incident.
Yeah, if your fence is not like if your fence is too much on their property, they can fine you, and it's too much
Man, what?
legality, man. I'm cool. I'm good. They can have it. They can have
Yeah,
it.
really. Yeah, that's when you get to those special properties like old historic districts and any place you got an HOA, bro. And if it's a
HOA.
good neighborhood, you want to have a HOA, bro. But golly, it's a fucking headache.
Yep.
I'm telling you, it's just a headache, brother. You can't put out. You gotta watch what you put out for Christmas. They be wanting you to participate in the damn candle things. I'm like, bro, I bought a whole house and I cannot do what I want to do with it.
Getting
Like, at
plumbers
all.
usually like whenever we go to a townhouse with HOAs, like you usually look at the job, but it's not going to get done that day. Even if it's something stupid, it can't be done that day because you always have to go to the board and they have to approve it, and then we come back to do this stupid simple job. Yeah, and then you still have to pay for it at the end of the day. It's not like the association pays for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I still think townhouses are pretty good. I mean, they are the best of a housing as well as not having to deal with all the responsibility of a house.
That's why I like
Only
living
thing
in
I
the
don't
country.
like about townhouses, and I mean, I guess it's the same for apartments. Only thing I don't like is that if one of them things catch on fire, it's a wrap. But it's the same thing with an apartment.
It's the same damn thing with an apartment. It's even worse.
I guess it's like when you see a townhouse, it's just everything is just so they just close together. You dig? Like the way it just looked to me is funny, but no, it's
I guess aesthetics wise, yes, but I mean, apartments are literally pancaked on top of each other.
Right. Yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah, but
see, that's why I like the country. When you out there in the country, you get that good land. You have, man, you can. You don't have no homeowners associations.
I think that's what we do need to start teaching people is how to buy land versus so much as buying houses first. I think if we learn how to acquire land, then you can do what you want to do with the land later. You can build your own house on the land. You know, I think a lot of people just say, oh, well, you should buy a house because it's just something to do. I think we've been told that, you know, you hit 25, you get married, you go buy a house, you have kids. And I think it's starting to change with the millennial generation.
They don't believe that.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't getting married. People are
and
having
they want to rent.
Yeah, so you're gonna start with some change.
Generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, niggas is having kids.
Everybody having kids. But
not me.
Not me.
Clement did not hear that. Nobody heard that.
I'm not having kids right now.
No, nobody heard. Nobody said. Nobody heard what I said.
Oh, no, thank you.
Yeah, no kids right now. Nope.
Millennials is not getting married. I said. You said okay. See, they said millennials is not getting married. I said niggas is having kids. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, well, no, I heard that.
Yeah.
Oh, I meant giving birth to them. That's what I was talking about.
Oh.
I was not talking about making them. The new uteruses is on the way.
Oh, Lord.
I'm gonna throw this last question to the panel. Should we teach the youth to buy houses or purchase businesses?
Shit. Purchase businesses. Purchase businesses. That's my opinion. So you can come up. I mean,
when I say purchase businesses, when I say purchase businesses, I was talking to my plumbing instructor about this, and when it comes to starting a plumbing business, you're essentially going into debt before you ever start even doing your first call because of all the equipment and everything like that. And he was the one telling me that you don't always have to try to open your business from ground up. You can always look at the existing stuff that's there.
Franchise.
Pick one, buy it out, or make some kind of agreement, and from there, start building from there. Make the company run a lot more efficiently. Do it your way. But you don't always have to start out as a business person, not as a plumber, not as a plumber who's also trying to be a businessman. When you're going into business, you buy businesses. The business thriving is what you want. You don't care so much for the passion side of it. So,
can you franchise businesses as a plumber, Clement? Like if it was another, like, you know, like if it was like a major plumbing company and you want to start, you know, your branch of that company, like how they do with like McDonald's and Burger King, can you do that in plumbing?
You could. It would be a little tough. I mean, because technically I'm in a company right now that has the ability to do that.
Okay.
You know, it was a mom and pop shop, but they grew to about, we're at like 400 plus employees right now.
Okay.
So they're a very big, very large company, and I believe they have the capability to franchise themselves. But from what I know of them, they started out as plumbing, or they started out as heating, HVAC, but then also bought different parts of the division. So it wasn't just they built it all; they just bought different people in. They just kind of like 8 different companies.
Oh, okay.
You know, and that's what I'm saying. Like, is it smarter to just teach kids? Like, listen, you don't always chase your dream. You know, work what you do, or do what you love, and you'll never work a day in your life again. I mean, it's still going to be work at the end of the day. So, might as well make the business working your actual drive, because if it's working, you're always going to have money. You're never going to have to worry about shit. You know.
I feel you, because nursing is definitely ain't the dream. I'll tell you that right now. It ain't the dream. I mean, it's a good means to an end, and it's a lot of income and all that kind of stuff. But 10, 15 years max. If any time before that, I'm done. I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like when I get my BS in, I'm going right back to logistics and start my logistics company, because this is for I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a good field, but I'm good. I couldn't do this for 30 years.
It beats up on you. It beats up. And I think there's certain things like that where it's like you can only survive that grind for so long. You know,
but the patient care part, but it's all kinds. What dozens of things you can do with a nursing license where you don't even have to touch a patient. So I'll probably always be involved in some way, but as far as like hands-on with patients, no. My lifespan is short on that one.
Yeah.
But I'm about to get back out of here, y'all. I got to get back to work. So,
CJ, I appreciate you coming up. Hold on, let me give you a panel real quick, man.
Well, shout out to CKQ Podcast. Y'all check them out. Y'all check everybody on the podcast out. Oh, yeah. And my name is CJ. I have a nursing channel. I talk about nursing, but from a different aspect. I don't give you the technicalities and the pathophysiology and all that kind of stuff. There's other people for that. I'll give you the fly side. So just holler at me, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll holler at y'all in a minute. Peace.
Later, bro.
Oh, man.
Peace.
Awesome. Who was up to go?
I'll answer. I would say that, you know, you could, because nowadays you can make your house a business. You know what I mean? With like Airbnb and things of that nature. So you could take your house and flip it, and you could have people coming in and you getting money off that house. So it's kind of how you finesse your hustle. You know what I mean? But I mean, definitely rationally, yes, you would want to teach the youth how to be business minded. You know what I mean? Because if they're business minded, then that means they can have a plethora of options, and they can be in different fields. You know, because we all want income that's coming in when we're awake and when we're asleep. That's really the goal. You know, and I remember Floyd Mayweather was preaching that about making money as you sleep, and I mean, that's where we all want to be. So you can kind of do whatever you want to do, basically.
That is the goal. That passive income.
Yeah.
We all need to kind of break that. I think a lot of us grew up in a cycle where it was kind of just paycheck to paycheck or just getting by, and I think there's a big boom of everyone trying to, especially predominantly in the Black community, at least that's where I'm seeing it, is we're all trying to break some cycle, and I don't know. I don't think it's a high wall to climb. I just don't think we're working together enough to do it properly.
Yep.
Like from the men and women aspect, and even for guys even working together to try to help each other out, try to build. I don't think we're doing that too well. But Danielle, what do you think? Should we teach the youth to buy houses or purchase what?
I agree with everybody else said. Really,
Yeah.
like you do want to teach your kid about, owning a business. And you can turn your house into a business.
Turn the house into flip it into a business.
But even to do that, that's still a business. So it's still essentially you want to teach them how to run a business.
I think that's a tough mindset to teach kids too.
You said it's tough?
Wait, how are you teaching your kids to be a little bit more business minded?
My son asked me, when I get out of high school, are you going to make me go to college? I said, I can't make you go to college. He said, well, is that the only thing I could do? I said, no. He said, well, what else can I do? I said, you can get a trade. You could just get a job, or you can start a business. He's 8 years old. He was riding home. He was looking out the window. He said, I want to start a business. I didn't. He just see what's happening. He asked questions and he make a decision.
Did he come up with an idea on the business?
No, I didn't ask him to. He's only 8. His mind changes every day. But I appreciate that he is curious enough to be wondering about something that's so far away.
A business, yeah.
On his own. He asks a lot of good questions about how to live life.
He's definitely growth minded, highly growth minded. You trained him well. John.
Yo, you already know who I'm at with this, bro.
Yo.
Teach him how to buy a business. Teach him how to buy a business.
I think if it's a choice between one business and one house, then I choose a house. If multiple businesses and houses, then probably business.
Man, I would teach them how to buy a business. Everybody say teach them how to open a business, how to buy a business.
I think that's the way to go, man. Buying a business.
Yeah.
My buddy has that right now. He's not at all a nail person. He's not a nail technician, but he bought out a nail salon and now he's making some pretty nice money. And all he did was his passion was making sure the business is running efficiently.
So I didn't when I opened my mechanic shop, I didn't buy his tire shop out. But what I did was I negotiated a whole year of not paying rent. And in return, increase in sales. And, he agreed to any tire to any front end alignment, anything that had to do with front end work, he would turn it over to my mechanics and he would look for stuff like that. Right. Anything that bad tires, stuff like that, we would flip it back over to him, vice versa. Right. He couldn't speak English that good. So after about a year, it was just booming. because he was experiencing where people weren't really wanting to mess with him because it was a language barrier, and he was Mexican. You know what I'm saying? And when we found out I was an American dude up there too, and somebody could speak English, then people started stopping in there. Plus, I was putting advertisement out up there, and then his business started booming. And so the fact that he let me slide on rent for a year, we all ate. Like, his business was on the brink of closing. But after that year, he ended up going on vacation and everything.
And look at that. If you had the capital, you could just bought out that business for nothing and then just easily flip to yourself.
Exactly. And ran it how. But see, essentially, I didn't have to buy it out, but I ran it how I wanted to run it. I told him how to position his tires. I told him how to, I made him build bins. I said, perception is reality. You can't have this looking messy. I said, you got this looking like it's a junkyard. People who come here have money. And if you look like this is a junkyard, then you have junk. And they're going to treat your tires like it's junk. So, it's a lot of lessons went into this. And at the end of the day, it was great. I'm just telling you, money is made around businesses. Period.
Yeah. I think that's why.
The only thing you got to do is only thing you got to be able to do when you buy a business is know how to negotiate. That's it.
I think you also have to find a business that they're passionate about. You know what I mean? Find a business that their child is passionate about and that they can actually do. Because they may want to do a business, but they may not have the skill level for it. Or they may not have the intellect for it. You know what I mean? I mean, not to put a child down, but they may not be disciplined or smart enough to do that business. You have to find what actually fits them and be honest with them, or just try to help them to kind of gain that knowledge as well, or discipline.
I think that's.
I don't know. I didn't know nothing about mechanic work. I cannot. But I'm good with numbers and I'm good with people.
That's
so the aspect that I could do, I did, which was writing the service work. You know what I'm saying? Like the guy who you talk to when you about to pick up your car or whatnot. I was good at that. But to your point, I also educated myself so that a mechanic couldn't get over on me. When I was interviewing, you had one question, and that question was, how do you service a transmission? And everybody who told me how to service a transmission, I didn't hire him. And it was one dude who was a master mechanic. He told me, well, if you service a transmission, you're going to tear it up. So I don't know what idiot would service a transmission. You don't service a transmission. And that's correct. You don't service a transmission at all. So I hired him. But I had to do some studying on my own. And when you go to servicing a transmission and you loosen up all them, you're gonna have a transmission problem the rest of the day. You're gonna have to rebuild it and do all this other stuff.
That's also. I think what you were saying, Mr. Hall of Fame. The idea that a child can't, if you're saying this person cannot do this, you're already putting a cap on what they can actually do. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm saying trial and error though. I'm trying to trial and error CKQ. Like, you tried, you've helped them, you've given them the tools, you sent them to school, you've done everything that you can for them, and it ain't working for them. It's just not their strength. They may really want to do it, or you can just find a different way to do it. You can say, okay, let's, like John was saying, let's hire somebody that's experienced in this and can really actually do it. Maybe you can just manage it and just do it from that standpoint. But you actually trying to do it is really not your strength. You just got to find out what their niche is and what they're really good at and what they can do and cannot do. It's not trying to put a cap on them. It's just trying to prepare them to be successful. Also, shout out to Atlanta Thrasher too. I see you in the comments, Atlanta Thrasher. What's up, bro?
You can tell Mr. Best in the World has got a management position. Did you hear what he said? is just not one of your strengths. This is just not one of your strengths. I can hear him saying, you know, it has come to my attention that the project that you've been working on is not up to the company standards. So it's probably advantageous for both of us to be part company.
Exactly.
And we part ways amicably.
Part ways amicably.
Exactly. All right.
This is just not your strength.
It's not working for you or for me. Yeah.
It's not working. Right. It's not working for you.
I think. So you think that it's good to say, hey, I don't think this is your strong suit to someone, versus you probably need to tackle this at a different angle or something like that?
Yeah, if you've given them all the money and resources that you can, of course. Because then if you keep doing it, you're just wasting money and resources, and you're wasting time. And time is a luxury. It's not a convenience. So you got to be honest with them so that they can find something to do something that works for them and works for you. Because essentially, I'm putting it in a. I see the comment. I'm putting it in a perspective. I mean, it's Thanksgiving, so I'm putting it in a perspective that, you know, you've done everything you can to help this child, and now there's nothing else you can do. You've done all the steps. There's nothing else you can do. So yeah.
CJ, you wanted that pie for Thanksgiving? Because Thanksgiving is Thursday. Today is Tuesday.
He's trying to get a little early taste, all right? He wants to know he's getting the good stuff.
I've been working all this week. He's trying to put me to work tomorrow. I already... Just text me and let me know what you want, please. What is it that you need?
Okay. I think we went through all the questions for tonight, right? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that was the last one.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, you got some nerve.
But other than that, let's close out the panel. We're going to start with the great. My sister's
great. I love that. My name is Danielle. You can find me on YouTube at My Sister's Keeper or on Instagram at Fly Nurse Mom Wife. As you can see, I sell sweet potato pies and banana pudding. I can't believe you want a sweet potato pie, not a banana pudding. That's what? Anyway, yes. So yeah. Catch me at those places or on here on Tuesdays for now. Thank you for having me.
Of course, always. We have John.
Hey, what's up? John, Black Wall Street Trading LLC. You can find me on YouTube. Hit me up. The market is looking kind of juicy right now for some option plays. So you should just comment on one of the videos. I'll see it and then I'll comment back.
And to top it off, we got Mr. Best in the World.
Thank you. Shout out to CKQ Podcast. Thank you for everybody on the platform. CKQ, definitely appreciate you, bro. You can find me on YouTube on Knowledge and Relationships. And yes, that's my channel. I'm the network manager for there. And thank you, everybody, for letting me be on here.
Yay! Thank you, guys. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for being here, watching, and especially in the comment section. CJ, don't worry about it, bro. I know you meant no harm by it. So, but thank you, everyone, for watching. You can always catch us here at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays, every Tuesday. Might start adding some more days into that, but as for now, Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. If you haven't already, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, and we will catch you next Tuesday.
If we're doing everything right, I think we should be vetting our wives, like go to their parents, go to their fathers.
They know they shouldn't have let me start speaking my mind in the booth, start speaking the truth. Might get I think you're just saying, okay, actions have consequences, and I'm not going to support this person's actions. Like, you don't have to cancel them and say, like, I hate you.
Innocent lives have to die.
But the whole thing is men are I also. That man was on the other side doing the exact same thing, and his decision with his eyes was to walk away.
Inside your soul.
Now we can paint the perfect picture without belittling each other, because under God's system,
we are equipped to handle that responsibility, but not every man is fit to handle that responsibility.
And there's just being cities, they pissing in project buildings that got a roof that leaks, resulting in missing ceilings, hard to sleep. Children going to schools dealing issues deep.
So I think society does make it more difficult for short men, but I don't think that it's impossible that they could find someone.
And expecting you to do your part. It ain't hard to see they trying to keep black in the back, just like Rosa Parks. Cops shooting blacks as if they get a token from God. School rob you with needed resources.
Is the weaker vessel and the more vulnerable.
Absolutely.
vessel.
100%.
You don't look at the man like, oh, poor son, you were violated. No, you like, bruh.
And nobody they shift my stick like some cars. And when you're lonely in your darkest thoughts, come, I know it's hard, but God shines his light on all that play their part. And it's the start.
Put myself in a situation where I can only rely on a man. Like, if I'm married and being a stay-at-home mom, I need to have a backup in case anything happens. I can't only rely on him. You know what I'm saying?
A flower will grow once you plant the seed inside your soul.
I'm a poet, and the best part of me shows it. Here to speak the message of what is known, but not what it takes to expose it. Listen closer as I take